guys, how's it going? We've got some really cool plants to put in the ground that I wanted to show you. 2 different perennials and 1 lilac tree. Found a Bloomerang dark purple lilac tree at my parents' garden center the other day in a tree form, so I had to pick it up. I've never tried one this way. It was the same day I found those really cool birch trees. So we'll go over some of the details there, but we've also got the Drops of Jupiter Ornamental Oregano, which was, I think, new last year. I tried to get my hands on it and I wasn't able to, so this is actually my first time trying it. I'm excited. And then this one, brand new this year, called Stand By Me Lavender Clematis. I love the shape of these blooms. So like when they're first coming out, check this out. It's kind of like a little ballerina skirt. And definitely a darker purple there with the light lavender margin. And then as they open up, they kind of flare out a little bit. And then toward the end, like they're pretty open. Look at this. This one right here. Of course, I picked the one that's facing away from us. Look at that. So really at any given time, you've got blooms in all kinds of different shapes and really in color, because when they're young, they're a lot deeper, and as they age, they lighten up a little bit, but oh my goodness, they look pretty from the back or from the front. It doesn't matter which way you're looking at them. And then when the flowers are done, you can see right here, there's like a little seed head, which these kind of puff out a little bit more, and they are really fun to use in cut flower arrangements, both the flowers and the seed heads. And once they start blooming about midsummer, they just keep on going. They may lull a little bit and have a moment where they're not producing quite as much than, you know, like that first flush of blooms and then a second flush of blooms, but I feel like they're always in some state of color, which I just absolutely love. The thing about this though is that they do grow about 38, I think they top out at about 38 inches tall and about 3 feet wide. So they do benefit from having some sort of support. You can see that they are grown on a little trellis right here. They've even got a little twist tie around them because these are enormous. Let me pull one out. Look at this. That's an enormous perennial right there. So you either need to plan to have some kind of support, which I brought a few of these grow through grids out, and we're a little late in the season to put this out for them now. I'd have to spend an enormous amount of time trying to thread branches through, but if you get after it early in the season, you can put these right above them and they can grow through it, kind of like peony supports a little bit. I've got a couple others I'll show you, or you can place them close enough together that they can kind of lean on each other for support, which is the method that I usually do because I never usually get around to adding a staking system of any kind. So like I said, the plant always seems to have flowers on it, but you don't have to deadhead them in order to encourage more blooms. They will just naturally do it on their own, which makes them really low maintenance. And then we cut them back every single like late winter, early spring to about 3 to 4 inches from the ground. And then they come back fresh. So there's really no question, like, you know, other clematis, vining type clematis, there's 3 different groups and you want to kind of be careful about how you prune them. This is just an easy cut them back almost to the ground every single year and you're good to go. They're a zone 3 through 7, so super tough for cold winter areas, resistant to deer, they attract all the pollinators, and they have a fragrance. I can't really like distinguish it. It's sweet. I want to say because they're purple that they smell like grapes. I'm not sure that that's exactly it, but they've got a really sweet smell and they are perfuming the air right in here. It's not the oregano. I can smell that too. This is different. We were trying to decide earlier, like, does it have its own fragrance? And they definitely do. So that brings us to this one, Drops of Jupiter Oregano, Ornamental Oregano. It's a little bit more mild in flavor. The leaves are edible. You can use them like regular oregano, but I love the colors here. We've got pink stems, bright chartreuse leaves, and then about midsummer through fall, they bloom kind of these deep mauve pink blooms. I think these together, I think that's how we're gonna do it. I think we're gonna do this as a back layer because these will get about 3 feet or a little bit more tall. These grow about 2 feet tall. So we'll have a beautiful, like perfect layering. And then the purple with this chartreuse and the deep green, I think it's so pleasing. These will spread out about 36 inches, so about 3 feet. So one perennial will go a really long way. So this is a zone 4 through 9, resistant to deer, just like the clematis, and also attracts pollinators. So imagine with these 2 planted close together, all the pollinator activity we're gonna see is gonna be really fun. And then drought and heat tolerant once it's established. So after this year, you know, the first year you're always kind of babying them along through the heat of the summer, but after this summer, we should be good to go. And then that brings us to our last one, which is the Bloomerang dark purple lilac. I am so incredibly excited to try this tree because once we got the other globe-shaped, you know, the globe birch planted out in the south garden, I wasn't really sure how I would feel about that structure out there because it does have kind of a formality about it. but I love it. So I think this is going to be awesome out there. Now we do have one of these planted in shrub form. We've had it in the ground for 4 or 5 years. It's doing excellent, and I have noticed that the bloom panicles are bigger. Once it was established in its spot, after a couple of years, the bloom panicles seem to, I don't know why, maybe it was just loving its life. The greenhouse door is blowing open, sorry if you can hear that. But if you get close here, you can see some of the buds are starting to open. They're of course a little smaller than traditional lilacs, but they still have the scent. This one is loaded. If I kind of tip it, you can see all of the buds. We'll be able to see them, of course, a lot better once we plant it in the ground because it'll go down about 1 foot. So we'll be looking at more of the blooms. But this will be a really fun one to try. It grows, did I already mention it grows 4 to 6 feet tall and wide. So, you know, as a shrub, if this wasn't grafted and it was planted down in the ground, it would still, I mean, it could get taller than me. So this will turn into kind of a small accent tree if it likes its location. I also forgot to mention that lilacs also tend to like a higher pH soil, so they tend to do really well for us here. So now we're gonna head out, get them all planted. I've got all my supplies here, my compost, starter fertilizer, auger. Let's go. So we ended up putting some of the Clematis over here and some of the Oregano over here, and then some out in the south garden so we can see how they do. The ones out there will be much more exposed than the ones over here. Both of these plants though do prefer full sun to part sun, so they should be happy in both places, but these are of course protected by the North Pole arborvitaes that are right behind them. And I did leave space to put one more thing because I think we need one more layer before the arborvitaes. So maybe like a foxglove or a delphinium, something with a spiky bloom, maybe something white would be nice because we've got the nice lavender, we'll have the kind of mauve-y pink, and then these are the Mary roses that we transplanted from behind the Hartley. And they're doing great. I mean, look at them. They're all leafed out, looking absolutely beautiful. Haven't really skipped a beat, really. So they grow about 4 by 4, so they will fill in this area and have really large, soft pink blooms. Then we'll have our lavender, pink, white. It'll be very soft and beautiful. And honestly, as I was looking at this grouping from both sides, I wouldn't even mind if these never bloomed. I think they are so pretty, just the color that they are. It's so cooling and kind of grounding. It adds weight to the area. So let's head out to the south garden. I'll show you where the other batch of these ended up. Out here in the south garden, things do look quite a bit different. I didn't use as many plants out here, So 3 clematis and 3 of the oregano, as opposed to on the west side I used I think 7 clematis in the end and 5 oregano. So it kind of just depends on what look you're going for. I mean, big drifts of things always looks pretty, but it's really nice to have kind of a pocket of color every once in a while too. So if you have a very small garden, tucking one of these in would still be impactful because, I mean, these get pretty good size. Both of these do. And so they will really fill in this area. I think they'd be pretty in a container as well because they look good for so much of the season that you really will have a really nice looking container. I mean, one of these, and then maybe like one Color Blaze Velveteen Coleus with a little hint of pink and then a deep kind of burgundy color in there too. That would be a super pretty trio. So we are planning on doing different mulch out here too. Up to this point, it is wood chips because it's a pretty vast area out here and it was something we could get our hands on easily and for free last year. We are going to be coming along with a nice layer of compost on this whole area here fairly soon, which will be nice. It's a darker color. It will contrast these lighter leaf plants. And then the Bloomerang lilac ended up right down here. Let's head that direction. P.S. Before we head to the lilac, I did put one of these stakes, and I'm not even sure what it's called. We'll probably link it down below. It's from Gardener's Supply. I only have one, so I need to get 9 more. But this is a really nice type of stake because it doesn't have the grow-through grid, which those are great if you are on it and you get them set up early enough in the season where the plant can just easily grow through the grid. But if you're staking things at the point where they actually need to be staked, which is usually my timing, this is nice because it's nice and open. So you can just feed it over your plant. I'm gonna attempt to do this while Erin is filming. I usually choke a little bit, but you just put it through the little holes in these stakes. And voila. So as this plant gets bigger, wider, it can kind of just, you know, open up and lay on the sides of the stake and it'll keep it really nice. And it's decorative. I think it looks really nice. Okay, lilac. All right, so we decided to put it right back here. There's kind of a nice big open spot. We've got a blue sky Serbian spruce here, which got nice bicolor blue-green. That one gets about 15 feet wide, so 7.5 feet on center, so that'll come out to about here. We'll still have room for something else in between. And then back behind, we have a Vanderwolf pine, has a 15-foot spread as well. We have a royalty crabapple, I think 20-foot spread, 15 to 20 feet. So it may come at maximum like right here, so it will still have some space. What else do we have in this area? Some tulips and daffodils. There's a Norway spruce. Anyway, I just thought it would be a really fun shape out here because we didn't have anything else quite like it. I think it'll add some really pretty spring color out here because other than the crabapple will be beautiful. It'll be beautiful out here. I kind of forgot. It's a pretty big spring interest right there. Anyway, I think it's going to really like it out here. We may have to stake it because the wind comes from this direction, and with such a kind of thicker globe up top, that will catch some wind. So we'll maybe need to stake it at some point, but full sun out here. I'm going to need to run drip to it, but should be happy out here. And that is going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I love the plants. Like, just looking at the oregano, so pretty. I feel like I could use that all over. That color, that bright green just looks so fresh. Oh, love it. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.